So now we're going to talk briefly about the use cases and benefits for the different interaction channels. And we're going to be diving into interaction channels very in depth later on in this course. So we're going to be brief here, just to give you introductory information around what we mean by interaction channels. So I'm on this sample case here for Stella Pavlova, who is just a fake contact record in free developer accounts. You may be familiar with this particular contact. And I'm in case number 1002. You may have that same case in your own free developer account. If I scroll down and I look at the case origin, this one came from a website. Double clicking on that or clicking the pencil icon will bring you into edit mode and highlighting the case origin case. I'm going to click the drop down and we see that we have three different case origins. We got web, email, and phone. Those are three of the primary interaction channels that come out of the box configured for your Service Cloud instance in your free developer account, and you'll deal with these most frequently in Service Cloud engagements, but there's other interaction channels I want to talk about as well. Then as well, also, in addition to case origin, you can get into more specifics with the type field. Now there's these different types here as far as mechanical, electrical, electronic, and structural, and other in our free developer account. Now we're going to be customizing these case origin and type fields throughout the duration of this course, and as well we'll be getting into case reason. But I wanted to show you this case origin selections as a launching point in discussing some of these different interaction channels. Now later on, a few sections later in this course, we're going to be looking at these interaction channels more in depth, and just briefly, those different interaction channels that we're going to deal with specifically in this course would be the mobile interaction channel. And when we're talking about mobile, we're talking about people contacting your support center through their mobile phone, and that's different than telephony or phone, and that would be this designation here. That's another interaction channel. Yet another is email. We'll be getting into email to case and the different ways you can configure that in a Salesforce Service Cloud instance, and just the email interaction, and then as well how you can customize the case layout to be able to enable your agents to email on cases from within the Service Console. So we'll be going into depth on how to do all that. And as well, the web interaction channel, this would be web to case functionality where you embed a form on a website and then people can fill out that form, and that creates a case automatically and fills in the case origin of web. I'll show you how to do that as well. And then other interaction channels that aren't necessarily out of the box but will be on the exam, and we'll show you how to configure, have to do with the chat interaction channel. And that, when you deal with chat or speak about chat in Salesforce, you're talking about Live Agent. So I'm going to be taking you through a Live Agent implementation, and we'll be getting you set up with Live Agent in your own free developer account as well. And then other interaction channels would be social. There's a social media interaction with like Facebook and Twitter. In this social environment, you may have cases come in that need to be configured and flow into Salesforce whenever someone sends a tweet or posts on a Facebook wall, for example. And then as well, another key interaction channel would be an internal one, and that has to do with chat or groups. And this is where you collaborate with other coworkers to collaborate on case resolutions. And so as you can see, there's a lot of different ways or inroads that customers can contact your organization, and those are known as interaction channels. Salesforce has accounted for all of these, and there's also a newer feature called Omnichannel, and I think it's recently been renamed Lightning Omni, and so you can configure Omnichannel or Lightning Omni to route cases based on origin. And once again, these different interaction channels usually will have a corresponding case origin, and they'll often have a corresponding support process as well. And so if I go to setup and we search for the term process, I want to show you what we have for support processes so far. And if you remember, the support processes that you create are the underpinning of the different types of interaction channels that you provide support for. And so, for example, you have a support process that ties into case record type, which you associate the support process with, which dictates the page layout and the pick list values. So depending on the interaction channel that someone comes through will dictate case origins, for example, and the support processes also dictate the different selections for case status. And so if I go back to the service application and go to that sample case that I was in for Stella Pavlova. And you can get to this recently accessed case by clicking the down arrow and selecting the recent record. And so this status designation here, this is defined by the default support process. There were none listed, so there's just a master support process behind the scenes, and these are just default designations. But if you add additional support processes, which we will based on these different interaction channels, then you can change these different statuses. This is much like the stages that are available on an opportunity through the different sales processes that you create in the Sales Cloud. Status is dictated by support processes. So this all ties together. It's hard to keep track of it all when you're starting out, but as you progress through the course, it'll start to make a lot more sense. I'm trying to layer this in logically, and so bear with me as we start to go layer upon layer of some of this background information. And this industry knowledge section that we're in, there's a lot of introductory high-level information. And as you can see in the exam guide, it's weighted heavily, but just bear in mind, like I've mentioned before, that we're going to be layering on and reminding you of this industry knowledge throughout the upcoming sections of the course. And so even though this is weighted heavily, this particular section of this course is not huge compared to some of the others. That's because we're going to be revisiting the industry knowledge pieces as we're going through the other sections as well. And so you see that we can handle a lot of different interaction channels in Salesforce because customers today reach you well beyond just picking up a phone. And we live in an environment where we're one click away, we're one tap away, we're one tweet away, we're one Facebook post away, and we need to respond quickly. As we saw when we were looking at the different metrics and KPIs that we're being measured against in our competitors, we don't want them outdoing us, so we're always looking for ways to optimize and improve in the Service Cloud. And so in the next lecture, we're going to be looking at challenges and considerations for business continuity in the contact center.